And welcome back to the semifinals of the Atlanta Open. Some team action. We'll be focusing on legacy here. Team Brad Carpenter, Andrew Jessup, Dan Jessup versus Will Pulliam, Cat Light, and Kwame Gunn. And we'll be looking at Grixis Delver versus Turbo Depths.
They've been excellent on camera this weekend. We've seen Cat Light a win yesterday and a win today, both times on camera. This team was very powerful in their win in the round, a 2-0 win on Will's side and on Kwame's side. But this will be legacy. Will on the play. Let's start things off. Ryan, what makes this a hard matchup for Grixis?
So Grixis has very few meaningful interaction points with either of the Dark Depths combos. Basically, Wasteland on Thespian Stage or Dark Depths are what you're looking at. But then the Turbo Depths deck is just full up on duress effects. You have 4 Thoughtseize, you have 4 duress, so you can break up anything like Force of Will, and then you have Pithing Needle to turn off Wasteland.
Looks like that might be what he does. Turn 1, Pithing Needle from Will Pulliam. Usually they name Wasteland. I have to think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Especially with deckless face up. You know,
Yeah.
you know this is the only thing you care about. There's other matchups where your Pithing Needles can be used for different things, but Wasteland, pretty much all you're looking at here.
And that is what he names.
Not that Deathrite Shaman's a bad card, it just doesn't really matter in the matchup.
Lotus Petal, Expedition Map, Lotus Petal. Will's playing all his cards this turn. 2 left. They're both lands.
Once the needle resolves, you can be pretty sure that nothing too
Yeah.
meaningful is happening after that, so get that map in while it's good.
His hand is Dark Depths and Thespian Stage. This is setting up for a turn 3 Merit Lage and a turn 4 win.
Yeah, you already have Wasteland covered.
Yep. Those of you not familiar, Dark Depths there. He's going to use the map on turn 2 to go ahead and get his Thespian Stage, then make a Dark Depths, then make a Merit Lage.
A little interesting here, Brad had access to Force of Will for the needle. Likely did not pull the trigger because he does not yet have a Wasteland.
Sure. That makes sense.
There's also some hands that they can just win even through that. Certainly if you don't have the Wasteland. So maybe if this hand has to go off with Vampire Hexmage, you're saving the Force of Will for that. It's a judgment call, but looks like Brad is going to lose.
We might see what Willie Pulliam can do here. He could use Lotus Petal to crack Expedition Map and then make the Thespian Stage this turn. That means if he top decks Lotus Petal or Simian Spirit Guide, he can go off a turn, or Elvish Spirit Guide, he can go off a turn earlier.
Yeah, it looks like he is declining anything like that.
Yeah, that might be too fancy. I'm not certain.
There's no real rush.
Yeah, there's no rush. I'm not sure what else the Lotus Petal is doing. You're right.
Sometimes you do see a main deck Diabolic Edict for Grixis Delver, but
Okay.
deckless or face up, that's not going to be happening here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Will would have scanned for a card like that.
Yeah.
Especially what he's playing.
All right, there's one card I care about. Are you playing it? No, you're not.
Does Brad have a way to interact here? He has to win before turn 4?
Well, he's really not able to do that. Throwing some transformed Delvers in front of the Merit Lage while he tries to win with something else is kind of what he's looking at. Yeah, there's really nothing. You have Lightning Bolts and Fork Bolt. Those don't do anything in the face of an indestructible 2020. There's no Planeswalkers, nothing like a Liliana of the Veil or a Jace the Mind Sculptor, so you can't really deal with a 2020. So he has this Deathrite Shaman and can maybe commit another threat.
Ponder here from Brad.
And Brad's side, we're going to make Will show him, but this map should be grabbing a Dark Depths. You're going to see Dark Depths or Thespian Sage this turn, the other one the turn after, followed quickly by a 2020.
Right. And it just doesn't feel like what Brad's doing is mattering. If he doesn't have cards to draw to that answer this, and he doesn't have a way to race it, I guess he can block with, you said, Flips Delvers, and I agree, that makes sense. He could gain life off Deathrite Shaman, perhaps, to get himself an additional turn that way, if he can manage to chump block with Flyers.
Yeah.
This is a lot to ask. Another Deathrite for Brad as well. Thespian Stage found off Expedition Map. And what Will has successfully done is by dumping his whole hand on turn 1, he is committing no more game actions that use the stack. So Brad's counter spells are just meaningless here.
Yep. It's all lands from here. Either Thespian Sage or Dark Depths, as long as the other one follows next turn. There it is, the stage. And now Brad has to try to deal 18 damage with 2 Deathrite Shamans in 1 turn. I suppose he has 2 turns, but still not nearly enough.
Brainstorm from Carpenter. Yeah, Will's still at 18. days. Wasteland. Yeah, there's the Wasteland. But we don't have... Is there a way to get rid of a needle in Brad's main?
Not in the main deck. He has a sideboard Abrade.
Okay, so there's no real reason to keep this Wasteland. It can't do anything.
Right.
Polluted Delta completes the brainstorm for Brad. He is rushing to try to find something to do about this, but he really just needs to be rushing for damage.
Yep.
If he can swing both Death Rights in, make a Gurmag Angler, then perhaps get a stack of Lightning Bolts in his hand, that could do things. It's a lot to ask. But
yeah,
I think that's what we're looking at.
Well, if you make an Angler, the 2020 will be online as a blocker on the following turn. So that's not even additional damage. You can like activate Shaman and cast Lightning Bolts off the rest of your mana. Maybe you have to attack with one of the Shamans here. So here's Lightning Bolt.
Bolt's Will to 15. Exiles a land out of Will's graveyard. Casts Gurmag Angler. This means there's no food for the Deathrite Shaman. He had to exile the entire graveyard here. And he'll pass. Is there... He's left up... Oh, no, is the Lightning Bolt still there, or is it just all gone?
Looks like it's all gone.
Okay. And here's Dark Depths. Will threatening to make a 2020. He'll pass.
And with no Delver already on the battlefield, Brad not looking at any ability to chump block the Merit Lage.
Young Pyramids are not good. He's going to pick up the cards. So game one, Will Pulliam just establishes everything right away. He gets to a very early lead. They're going to go to the sideboard. We're going to take a quick break and be back with post-board games. Back here, Brad Carpenter taking an L in the first game, but teammate Dan Jessup takes game one in the mirror over Kwame Gunn. Let's take a look at the sideboards here. Brad was really left in a spot where he had no way to interact with Pithing Needle plus lands.
Right.
What can he do in the... He'll have better options in the sideboard.
Yeah, so we have 3 Cabal Therapy, 2 Surgical Extraction, an Abrade, an Ancient Grudge, a Dead Gone, a Diabolic Edict, a Dismember, a Flusterstorm, a Liliana the Last Hope, a Pithing Needle, a Power Blast, and a Relic Elemental Blast. So stuff that is actually good against Merit Lage is available. Dead Gone and Diabolic Edict, both able of dealing with a 2020. So obviously those ones come in. You kind of want to be able to fight over Pithing Needle a little bit more. Not being able to destroy that was a problem in game one. The Abrade, the Ancient Grudge, they make some sense in the matchup.
They do something.
This deck casts all of its spells so fast that despite it being a combo deck, I'm not super interested in Cabal Therapy. It is fine, particularly on the play. If you can hit him turn 1, sometimes you can really break things up. But without a probe, it's tough to know because so many of the cards are just redundant across multiple different types of spells.
Well, we saw game 1, Will cast all his spells in the game on turn 1.
Right.
And then actually made no more spells, so what would have Cabal Therapy done?
And then the other relevant card is Pithing Needle on the sideboard. You can either name Thespian Stage or Vampire Hexmage and shut off half of the combo.
All right, see Will there was confirmed with teammate Cat Light. She also took a game win in game 1 with Bant Spirits, so their team up on 2 tables.
Yep, and those are the 2 matchups that look pretty favored.
Yeah, it said that Metagame Guru is going to have to break on one of those.
Yep. Dan Jessup doing his part, but he needs help from his teammates.
Will Pulliam side, not much in the sideboard he's going to go for.
No, this is not a matchup where you need to go faster, so you don't really reach for Rite of Consumption. There are some matchups where, or even decks that bring in Abrupt Decay against Delver just to slow them down, but Turbo Depths is so much faster than Delver. If you board out a combo piece for that, it's really bad.
Sure. Gataxian Probe, turn 1 from Brad Carpenter. Down to 18. Let's see what he's up against. 2 Pithing Needles, Abrupt Decay, Elvish Spirit Guide, Crop Rotation, 2 lands. Neither of them are combo pieces. It looks like Urborg and Ghost Quarter.
Yep.
This hand seems far more beatable.
Hey, you don't have green mana for the Crop Rotation even.
Yeah.
I suppose you have the Spirit Guide, but you gotta play into Force of Will with it. Yeah, no permanent source of mana rather, so you can cast one of these 2 green spells.
You can quarter yourself into green if you needed.
Yeah, it's a play you do see from this deck sometimes. But I guess, yeah, with rotation you have half the combo or whatever, but without a discard spell to make sure there's no Force of Will, that's really dicey. Yeah. Especially if you have to quarter yourself with this hand, you're playing into Daze and Spell Pierce more often.
Yeah, agreed. So Brad now will start with a Ponder. Remember those Ghost Quarters, there's no basics in Brad's deck. They are just land destruction.
Yeah.
More Wastelands.
Not the most common. It's actually kind of funny. Turbo Depths more commonly Ghost Quarters itself. And instead of targeting Volcanic Island or Underground Sea, if he's Ghost Quartering Brad, it's usually hitting Wasteland. So that you don't get your combo wasted.
Sajiri Step drawn from Will Pulliam, especially with a Crop Rotation hand. That's a card you don't want to draw at all.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can give pro blue and crack through with the Merit Lage. It's usually not going to be game swinging.
Pithing Needle, that's going to earn a Force of Will from Brad. Pitches Brainstorm to it. It's an expensive force. I was a little surprised, Ryan, because Will has another Pithing Needle and Brad knows about it.
Yeah, that is something. And Brad has a Daze available, but he already knows about Elvish Spirit Guide, so he knows that the Daze would not be any good.
Right. Probe again, wants to just check up on Will's hand. Sees, yes, you drew the Sajiri Step.
Card used to see a lot of play with Knight of the Reliquary. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, in Standard that was the one of for Knight of the Reliquary.
Now Brad has this Wasteland. Kind of an interesting decision time. Do you just fire it off on the Urborg because you know you won't be able to after this Needles cast?
He might get him good with the Daze as well, because if Will doesn't want to play around Daze, he actually... Yeah, we actually have to back up here. Brad has not illegal play. We're going to stop them. Sorry, Mr. Carpenter. Now, he cast it before making Wasteland.
Yeah, there's this Urborg allows him to do it.
Oh,
That's
he has Urborg.
Nice.
He has Urborg. Wow, our mistake. Our mistake indeed. That is
That's
legal.
Powerful. Yeah, the
now
second.
you got to ask a question, did Brad know that?
I imagine he did.
He Wastelands away the Urborg.
Taking advantage
He's
of your
gonna tell
opponent's
you he
Urborg,
did.
it feels pretty nice. Yeah, without that Urborg, you'd have to crack the Flooded Strand, which means he'd be losing his Wasteland, as Will is likely to play Pithing Needle on this turn.
If Brad didn't have the Daze, Will actually could have tried to Crop Rotation away the Urborg in response to Wasteland with Spirit Guide. One of those weird plays, but Daze would have eaten him alive.
I mean, kind of. It would like reinforce the wasteland on the land that Brad doesn't really care about, right? You're already sacrificing, the land's being destroyed, so your option is to sacrifice it.
No, you'd rotate into something different.
Right, exactly, but the daze doesn't blow that out.
Well,
Because you're
you
sacrificing, it's just a 1-for-1. Because you're sacrificing material that's already being hit, so it's a 2-for-2.
You counter the crop rotation.
Yes.
And you lose the Spirit Guide.
But the wasteland was being pointed at the land that he sacrifices, so it's a 2-for-2. Like, I don't consider a parity trade to be a blowout, is what I'm saying.
Wait, it's 3. It's 3. Spirit Guide, crop rotation, herb.
Oh, right, the
Guide.
Spirit Guide. So 3-for-2 is a little bit more.
Yeah. Pithing Needle from Will Pulliam.
Brad is already down because of the Force of Will, though, so we're kind of breaking even on all of it. Is Brad just going to fire off that daze? It's not like it gets better.
He is fighting very hard over Pithing Needles. A Force of Will on one, a daze on the other. He's really... I like fighting over the first one. He has already used a Wasteland.
And the Spirit Guide's the only source of green mana, so Brad kind of wants that one to be pitched.
Yeah, Will has to decide if he's paying or not. Not clear which one's right.
Yeah, a lot of draw steps to be missing on a green source. Though the deck is not super heavy on them. You have 2 snow-covered forests, a couple Bayou, then 4 Verdant Catacombs.
And Will's not going to fight. He keeps the Elvish Spirit Guide. We go back over to Carpenter. He has Deathrite Shaman. The rest of his hand, though, doesn't do much. Fetchland, Volcanic Island.
Now, as is usually the case in Legacy, this hand gets a lot better if Brad produces a Brainstorm.
Pithing Needle of his own. Name the Ghost Quarter. I don't know if I'd name the Ghost Quarter.
Probably wouldn't name the Ghost Quarter.
There's one in play. Probably going to name Thespian Stage? He names Thespian Stage.
Yep.
Good call.
This is a 3 Urborg deck. It would be kind of amusing if there were only one naming Vampire Hexmage.
Ooh.
Would be less reasonable. But it is kind of an option because there's so many Urborgs available. So you do still have that choice. It's pretty close.
Land, Brad's going to pick up. He picks up Ponder. He's going to crack Fetchland pre-Ponder.
Yeah, so if you ponder and you find, a card you want, another fetch land, or if you find, like, you don't really want to keep just one card off of the ponder, really. You kind of want to ask for more and shuffle, unless it's particularly good, and if it's very good, then you're just golden. You generally do make your ponders better if you leave a fetch land up.
All right. Brad draws Spell Pierce.
He's allowing him. So I guess the argument is he's looking for a ponder that's at least 2 good cards because he does still have Flooded Strand.
If he sees 2 good, can he just not crack the fetch land?
Hey, that option is available to him.
Spell Pierce was a great find, regardless. It's probably still live as a counterspell. It's losing some value here.
Well, now Pulliam's up to 3 lands.
Yeah, so maybe not.
I actually don't think the Spell Pierce is particularly good.
Let's see what else to do with it. He can make crop rotation. We're going to see Thoughtseize. Well, all right. Spell Pierce is the only card in Brad's hand, so... Oh, I like this. You pierce it. Do you want to pierce the Thoughtseize or not? He says no.
I'd probably rather activate Deathrite Shaman.
Actually, opponent takes 4 that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like it if you Spell Pierce it, and then he pays, and then you show him your hand, and you're like, ha ha.
I mean, yeah.
I'd feel smarter that way
until
I thought about it. And
until I did the math.
I was like, I'm terrible.
Yeah. Well, I sure am clever.
I got you to tap your lands. Another ponder from Brad. This time he's going to ponder pre-fetch.
Still Lightning Bolt hanging out.
Probe and Delver Secrets. I don't mind the Delver here.
Kind of a nice mix. You can actually cycle through all of this very quickly.
I don't think he wants the Lightning Bolt. He puts it from the bottom, but fortunately, with that fetch land in hand, he doesn't really have to.
This is the sort of game where Lightning Bolt is going to have kind of a time walk effect, though. As the life totals get lower, it ends the game faster.
He is just dealing damage in 3s, so another 3 is just a hit. Might just be good.
Right.
I can see that. Delver of Secrets, and he says go. Brad's top card is that Gataxian Probe, so he's not going to crack the fetch line just yet. Pretty sure he would like Delver to flip.
Yep, guaranteeing a transformation. Pretty nice. Then he's dealing damage in increments of 5, so it's actually Aberration Shaman, then Lightning Bolt, so this is lethal in 2.
Not bad. Will has picked up an Abrupt Decay. Can maybe put some roadblocks in the way, but he's going to have to figure out a way around the Pithing Needle. Well, I guess Abrupt Decay can do that.
Yeah, he'll have to Ghost Quarter himself or use the Spirit Guide to turn the Decay online, but these are both reasonable costs.
Well, he could, if he has an extra turn. Well, never mind, I was going to say he can use Thespian Stage, but no, he can't.
Yeah, can't activate that one. Because of this Pithing Needle that Carpenter has, he'll need to find both Dark Depths and Vampire Hexmage.
Well, Ryan, hold on. If he end step, pitches Spirit Guide, Abrupt Decays the Needle, untaps, crop rotates into Dark Depths, and taps out, he can Merit Lage.
Yeah, that looks like it checks out.
So I actually think he's is ahead in this race again.
This deck has a lot of tricky lines. I'm so used to playing against it with Storm, where none of them matter.
It's like you have.
Oh yeah, you made it 2020. Oh, I'll kill you. Also, I'll bounce that. Storm's at 12. Tendrils you for 26.
Yeah, I don't see how you'd beat Storm with that. That sounds miserable. Probe from Brad, and we'll see if Brad recognizes it. If he looks here, what he needs to know is that he's about to get smacked by a 2020.
Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. If Brad didn't see it, Ryan, he needed to not attack with his flyer. That's.
Yeah, you needed that chump blocker. It's not clear that he's able to win the game.
Yeah, he gets one more attack, and then Brad has to leave it back. This is end step. Will untaps, and he can make 2020 now.
He can, yeah, because he needs to. Well, he's still.
No,
he doesn't have the mana. He's copying Bayou because he can't activate stage and Ghost Quarter himself, right?
He taps Bayou, crop rotates the Bayou into Dark Depths, activates stage. He can just make a 2020 right now.
I don't think he can do that without Ghost Quartering because he needed green and black and he had to use Spirit Guide to get there.
Oh, right, no, you crop rotate this Bayou.
Oh yeah, he can make it now. I'm saying he couldn't do it end step.
Oh no, he cannot do it end step.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
So it is right that Brad did have that attack.
And Duress, in response, Brad will shoot off Lightning Bolt. If Will's making Duress here, he has Hex Mage and Crop Rotation. Did that set him back a turn? Let's see what he's up to. He can quarter himself into, remember that stage is on a Bayou? So he could quarter himself into second black.
Yeah, you can quarter yourself, float a mana on the land that you're hitting.
But I think he took a turn off his 2020 there.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It looks like it shapes up that way.
And that might cost him. He's at 7.
And
Brad can win from here.
The line doesn't play into Spell Pierce, right? Because he'd have a couple extra lands, even if that was Brad's one card. On one card, Brad couldn't have Force.
What would have happened was Brad, if he had the Spell Pierce, he'd Spell Pierce the Crop Rotation, Will would pay, and then say, oh, can't make a 2020 this turn.
Well, actually, if it is Spell Pierce, that would get him because Shaman Activation, Attack, Shaman Activation is actually lethal.
Right. Yeah, so you just can't really play
But that's
around
only
it.
because it's Lightning Bolt. So that actually does change that. I don't know. This is a weird spot.
I don't know whether Will, it seems like he might have cost himself some time. Now he's down to 5. And on board, there's 5 damage.
Right.
So we might be sending it to 3.
It's looking like it.
And Dan Jessup, 2-0, a match win in Standard. So Will Pulliam's going to have to, if not get this game, he'll need game 3.
Yep.
And he picks him up. A misstep for him. Part of him knows it, but he's got a game to recover.
Yep, the matchup is still quite favorable.
Yeah, and he'll be on the play for the 3rd game. And that's definitely going to help. Those cards like Spell Pierce from Brad, unlikely to matter. We'll go ahead and bring the 3rd game in its entirety, take a short break, and then we'll be back. We're back here. Now all eyes are on Legacy. Cat Light, a 2-0 winner over Andrew Jessup, means Game 3 of Will Pulliam versus Brad Carpenter is going to decide which team goes to the finals.
Will's opening hand in Game 2 did not look so hot.
No, and even despite it not looking great, he was very close to winning, which, being on the draw with a hand like that and keeping it as close as he did, tells me a lot about the matchup.
Yes. Yeah, there's just not that many interaction points, and the Turbo Depths deck has counterplay against all of them.
Will Mulligan.
In the matchups where you don't have to combo particularly fast, the Turbo Depths deck mulligans reasonably well. Now, you do run into trouble if you don't have Needle with your combo and Brad has Wasteland. You know, you're a little less likely to do all of those things every time you mulligan.
Ryan, I have a bingo question for you. Evan Square was turn 3 win. We had a turn 1 win today. I'm counting that, okay?
Turn 1 win's
Interestingly, this would give me a bingo if I had this, and this hasn't happened. Spell cast with flashback. That, you know, all it takes is one Snapcaster Mage.
That's true.
Turn 1 Gataxian Probe from Brad. We see it looks like a 5-card hand from Will Pulliam. He's got Bazooka Bog in play. The other cards are Crop Rotation, Sylvan Scrying, Dark Depths, Pithing Needle. He can't cast anything.
He can cast Needle.
Yep.
We had no green mana. If there were green mana, he kind of has access to a combo, and he has Needle for Wasteland. Brad just picked up a Wasteland, but if Brad has Force of Will plus this Wasteland, that's real powerful.
In this spot, I know you normally use Wasteland to disrupt the combo, but what if you just waste him off all his mana?
That's pretty good, too.
Well, Brad's going to do it. Now, Thespian Stage from Will makes Pithing Needle. Remember, he knew that was on top from the Scry rule, so he saw him do that rather quickly.
Brad has a Force of Will out there ready, though.
Does he have another Oh, he has another Wasteland in hand? Yeah, I kind of want to.
He has an Abrade in hand. I don't know if he has 2 lands. Maybe he does.
He has Fetchland, Wasteland.
Okay.
Flutterstrand, Wasteland. 2 Delvers. This is a really nice hand.
Yeah, considering you have Abrade, I suppose the fear
is that
involves,
it gets duress?
well, you've seen the hand, so you can't get, like, hit by multiple Elvish Spirit Guides.
He can't draw Duress and a black mana source. Your Abrade's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the Abrade actually looks like it should be good against the Needle.
I think the question is,
can you Wasteland in time if you Abrade?
Also, he has his only blue cards. He has 2 Delvers and a Force of Will. The real question is, like, did you care about the second Delver?
Yeah, the second Delver not super important. Another question, is there anything else that I'm going to need to Force of Will in this game?
Yeah. There was a Crop Rotation in Will's hand, which matters, but Brad does pull Force of Will on the Thespian Stage. So, Delver of Secrets looks like it's going to be the play from Carpenter.
I believe Diabolic Edict also in the hand.
If that's true, I don't know that Will can fight through all this.
That's a lot.
You have against like what? You have 2 Wastelands, Delver in Pressure, Abrade for Pithing Needle, and you have Diabolic Edict. This is just all the best cards.
Yep.
Turn 1 Delver from Brad Carpenter.
Looks very promising.
And we have a Verdant Catacombs from Will. Crop Rotation, Sylvan Scrying still in hand. He'll find Bayou. Does have still that Dark Depths in play. If you can just get up enough lands to crack it, could work. And go ahead and Thoughtseize Carpenter. I like this a lot. Carpenter's hand is Abrade, Diabolic Edict, Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, this should be eating that Edict.
Now you're leaving Brad with a Young Pyromancer, and that could be a lot of damage. But you just have to, you can't beat the Edict.
Yeah, less damage than what a 2020 deals. And Diabolic Edict just is lights out against this deck. Sometimes you're able to reset and combo twice, but the way that the resources are shaping up, Will's not going to be able to set up twice.
So we'll select Diabolic Edict, leaves Brad with Abrade and Young Pyromancer. So Brad will have plenty of pressure, especially if this Delver flips.
A transforming hit would be very powerful here, especially if it was a cantrip for the Young Pyromancer.
Like a Gataxian Probe would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
He drew a land, so much slower. Will goes to 16. Brad will make the Pyromancer, and then you're going to have to wait for those non-creature spells. Can't really cast his Abrade just yet. Will needs to draw land. Can he do it? He drew, yeah, Verdant Catacombs. That plays. And actually, that he can set up for next turn.
Yeah.
He has the Sylvan Scrying. Let's do it. This is a game that Will looked all but out of.
And we see a Braid stranded in Brad's hand, and he did use a Force of Will on a Pithing Needle.
Yeah, what I'm not sure. I don't like how Force of Will is on the Pithing Needle. Then I don't necessarily like that we've wastelanded 2 lands that weren't Dark Depths.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna Force of Will the Pithing Needle and then Abrade another Pithing Needle, then just hold the wastelands and just say try to combo me.
Right.
Sylvan Scrying finds land 4. It's Thespian Stage. Will has the combo next turn.
Yep.
And Carpenter, in a game that looked like he was ahead, now is in a pretty bad spot.
He's lost his Diabolic Edict. Dead Gone is still available in the deck.
Could draw another Wasteland.
Yep.
2 are gone, however. Delver of Secrets, does it transform? It does. It's to Ancient Grudge, though. That doesn't do anything.
Yikes.
Polluted Delta from Carpenter.
So you get to get one last hit in with the Aberration.
Pulliam down to 10. And over to Pulliam. And I think if you're on Pulliam's side, he may just make the 2020 straight out. Doesn't want a top-decked Wasteland to get him, and he knows that trick. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So, both lands gone. Pulliam has the 2020. And
now, Brad's looking at Dead Gone or some really good brainstorms into it.
he's thinking about abrading the Avatar just to get a 1/1 Elemental.
Yep, it's not doing anything else.
Yeah, I don't mind. He's got 1 block from Insectile Aberration. 10 damage together, he'll need a stack of Lightning Bolts.
Yep.
So yeah, Abrade. Yep, Abrade this indestructible creature. I will get a 1/1.
As is usually the case with these blue decks in Legacy, really good brainstorm here would be what he needs, or the Dead Gone.
Cabal Therapy's not going to do it.
No. That is an elemental token.
That's a second Elemental.
From here, the Dead Gone is still live next turn after the chump block, and he could brainstorm into 2 Lightning Bolts because he has 4 power on the battlefield now.
All right.
Probably want to name Abrupt Decay with this Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't want to lose your blocker and lose the game
Well,
on the spot.
hold on, Ryan. There's a crop rotation in Will's hand.
Sajiri Step.
Yeah, if you don't name crop rotation, he chose up a Spirit. If you don't name crop rotation, he's going to Sajiri Step the Avatar through, and then we're done a turn earlier.
That makes sense.
In response to... So, see exactly where we are. This is with the therapy before naming. He's going to go get Ghost Quarter.
Okay. Actually, quartering the Volcanic Island turns off Brainstorm into 2 Lightning Bolts as a top deck.
Yeah, he did that before therapy resolved. He didn't want to lose the Ghost Quarter. And yeah.
Also, you can't cast Gone off of only 2 lands, so using that Ghost Quarter, I think would close the game for Will.
Well, Brad could Yeah, no. There's no way to do it. Yep. He'll attack with the Avatar token. Brad has to put Insectile Aberration in the way. Gonna Ghost Quarter.
Yeah, with only 1 card in hand, you can only have 2 cards left over at the end of your Brainstorm. It can't be land and 2 Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, it looks like he's saying, hey, I want to Ghost Quarter away this red source. I don't want him to Brainstorm into 2 Lightning Bolts. Takes care of the red source. Says go. What can Brad do here? Passes. Final draw here for Brad Carpenter.
Ponder.
Oh, this is so dumb.
Ooh, 3 elemental tokens.
This is the most useless bingo square.
That's my best friend, Brad Carpenter.
That is so dumb.
And his 3 elemental tokens.
In a losing effort. I'm glad he did this right before getting eliminated.
No possible outs. Can't possibly win the game, despite his 3 elemental tokens.
Yeah, makes the 3rd elemental and then extends the hand. Okay, Will Pulliam gets there in 3. He defeats Brad Carpenter, and the team of Pulliam, Light, and Gunn move on to the finals.
Yeah, really impressive stuff there. Turbo Depths, great choice for the